Do you think you're tone deaf, or you know that you can't hold a tune? Or maybe you've been told that you just can't sing? Well, in this video, I want to talk about what true tone deafness really means, and if you do struggle to hold a tune, what you're most likely experiencing, and actually the fact that you can do something about it. My name is Anuska Taylor. I'm a certified vocal instructor, and I have been training singers and speakers for over a decade to become the master of their own unique voice. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future content. So first things first, true tone deafness is actually called amusia, and it's a clinical cognitive impairment. Now, this means that the brain cannot process musical sounds properly to make sense of them. But it's estimated to affect only around 4% of the population, meaning you are unlikely to be truly tone deaf. However, if you are still convinced that you might be tone deaf, I've got a little test that you can try, and I'll put the link below, and it will test some of the abilities, things like, can you differentiate between a high and a low pitch? Because someone that's truly tone deaf cannot hear that. So sadly, the term tone deafness gets thrown around so casually in our society and our culture. And it's a real shame because it really holds people back from trying to sing, taking voice training, developing their voice, because they almost think there's no point. I mean, I can't hold a tune, so why would I bother? But truly, if you're not actually clinically tone deaf, there are so many things that you can do to develop your voice and develop your ear. So we can think of struggling to hold a tune as the inability to really match pitch effectively. So if you were singing along with a backing track, or maybe you're playing the piano or guitar, or you're singing along with a band, you struggle to match the notes with your voice. Now, there's a variety of reasons why people struggle to match pitch, but often they fall into three categories, and sometimes these can kind of overlap as well. So developmental, psychological, and technical. But in all cases, you can develop the skill. I want to make that really, really clear. You can improve, and if you really want to do it, you can absolutely do it. Okay, so let's look at developmental first of all. So according to Professor Graham Welsh, as children we go through 4 stages of development when learning to match pitch, or in other words, learning to sing in tune. Now, if development is hindered for whatever reason, the skill is never fully developed, and then you go into adulthood with this underdeveloped pitch matching ability. So there obviously could be a number of reasons why it could be hindered, but one example is that if you grew up in a home where there wasn't a lot of music played, or it was very limited, maybe there was only sort of one genre or one musical style, so you weren't played a lot of music as a child, you're probably going to find it harder to match pitch. And also I find with people who fall into this category that they usually find it easier to match pitch with another voice than if they're trying to do it with a piano or guitar. So difficulty matching pitch can also be an imbalance in the voice. And this is where voice training comes in, because it's unlikely you're going to know how to balance your voice naturally. And you'll find that your voice will either go flat or sharp, depending on what you're doing and where exactly you are singing. But this can greatly be improved with voice training. And I would say most singers sort of struggle with this to a greater or lesser extent. And finally, that we know singing is really personal, it's really vulnerable. People get very, very anxious about expressing themselves with their voice. It's very emotional, particularly when you're singing, you're really expressing the deepest part of yourself. And so there's going to be a psychological impact when you sing. But of course, this is going to impact your ability to develop your voice and potentially to match pitch. So, for example, if you were told as a child that you couldn't sing, and I hear this all the time from people who then just don't sing for their whole life, which is really sad to me, you're unlikely to have developed that sort of pitch matching ability in the same way as someone that was maybe encouraged to sing as a child. Also, a lot of people have a fear of hitting high notes, and a lot of that is a psychological fear because they don't want to look stupid, they don't want their voice to sound bad, so they're almost sort of psyching themselves out before they even hit the note. And then, of course, the note then either goes flat or sharp depending on what they're doing. So the take-home message really is, unless you're in the 4% of the population that are clinically tone deaf, there is so much you can do to improve that pitch matching ability. But you do need to be patient, you do need to practice, and you do need to persevere. My recommendation is you find a really good teacher that you feel comfortable with that can really help you to start to train your ear and your voice so that you can really support your learning and start to improve that pitch matching ability. And just as a final comment, I just wanted to say as well that we hear as well perfect pitch a lot out there. And it's actually incredibly rare to be able to match pitch perfectly. According to research, unless you were having music lessons before your 6th birthday, it's unlikely that you will have perfect pitch. And don't be fooled. A lot of professional singers out there, when they're recording albums or even gigging in live situations, they're often using auto-tune. So you can't believe everything you hear. So I just wanted to leave you with that, because I think it's really important to know that you're not aiming for perfect pitch, because not many people really have perfect pitch. So I hope this has been really helpful for those of you that really feel this is something that you struggle with, and it's given you the inspiration and maybe some courage to go and actually find a teacher that can help you to really start to build this part of your development and your ability to match pitch. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on my next video.